Greetings, friends. I am Vitaly Portnikov. Russia's attack on the Azerbaijani embassy in Kyiv, which led to significant destruction in the diplomatic mission, caused predictable irritation of Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev. Aliyev had a conversation with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky and told his colleague that the attack on the Azerbaijani embassy violates the fundamental norms of international law. Zelensky himself quotes Aliyev as reminding that this is not the first attack on Azerbaijani facilities in Ukraine. This is also stated in the statement of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Azerbaijan, whose representatives speak of suspicions about the premeditation of such attacks. And indeed, if the constant hits of Russian missiles and drones on the territory of the Azerbaijani embassy in Ukraine can still be explained by the fact that the diplomatic mission is located near a defense enterprise, then the strikes on the infrastructure of the Azerbaijani company Sekar in Ukraine nothing but the planned provocation can be explained. This is probably what the Azerbaijani Ministry of Foreign Affairs talked about with the Russian ambassador Mikhail Evdokimov, who was handed a corresponding note of protest. What happened to the Azerbaijani embassy in the Ukrainian capital once again demonstrated that there was no real reconciliation between Russian President Vladimir Putin and Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev during their last meeting. Even if the Russian president made some half-accusations in connection with the destruction of the Russian air defense system of the Azerbaijani passenger plane, it did not happen for the simple reason that Russia's attitude towards Azerbaijan itself has not changed. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Azerbaijan reminds that the coordinates of the Azerbaijani diplomatic mission in the Ukrainian capital were transferred to the Russian authorities back in February 2022 year. And, as we see, no one in Moscow is interested in these warnings from Baku simply for the reason that from the Russian point of view, the fact of the presence of the Azerbaijani embassy in Ukraine cannot be taken seriously as something that has at least some relation to real international law. From Putin's point of view, from the point of view of any Russian military, Ukraine is not a state, and Azerbaijan is not a state. So why should the Russian military take into account the fact that Azerbaijan has opened its embassy in Ukraine? Nothing but surprise, and, I would say, a mocking reaction can cause such a decision of Azerbaijan in Moscow, as, however, Azerbaijan's decision to inform Russia about the location of the embassy in Ukraine in order to prevent Russian attacks on the territory of the diplomatic mission cannot cause another reaction. And this is the main problem in Russian-Azerbaijani relations: the contempt with which the Kremlin treats the Azerbaijani statehood itself and the Azerbaijani people, as well as any state that emerged after the collapse of the Soviet Empire, as well as any nation that is perceived in Russia as part of the imperial heritage and whose representatives should walk on a string if only they hear the command from Moscow. The Putin regime does not even think about any equal relations with the former Soviet republics, perceiving these countries as a state with limited sovereignty, which sooner or later will cease to exist either under the blows of Russian weapons or in the course of political pressure from Moscow. And it does not matter at all that Putin and his compatriots simply do not have any real resources to implement this ambitious imperial task. It is important that this attitude prevails in Russian foreign policy and in Russian public opinion. Therefore, as we see, this time there were no apologies from Moscow regarding the strikes on the territory of the Azerbaijani diplomatic mission. The State Duma only said that all this was the action of the Ukrainian air defense system, and that Russia, of course, could not have hit the territory of the Azerbaijani embassy in any way. How can you even think about it? But then Russia could not have hit the facilities of the Azerbaijani company Saka. Russia could not have hit a kindergarten in Kharkov, a children's hospital in Kyiv. The Russian military could not have committed numerous crimes against humanity in Bucha and other Ukrainian cities and towns that have become arenas for atrocities reminiscent of the most terrible episodes in the history of the Second World War. There was a feeling that the desire to imitate Nazism is the essence of the ideology that now prevails in Russia, and has become the real ideology of the Russian people, who finally got the opportunity to demonstrate the essence of their armed forces. All of this would not have happened. But it's happening right before our eyes. And the fact that Russia treats Azerbaijan's diplomatic representatives in this way is a continuation of the repressions against Azerbaijani citizens and ethnic Azerbaijanis with Russian passports that took place in Russia long before the last conflict between Moscow and Baku. This is also the disdainful attitude towards Azerbaijanis or Armenians or Georgians or representatives of all the peoples of the Caucasus, which has always existed in the Russian capital and in any other Russian city, often manifested by pogroms and mocking statements of the authorities after these pogroms. The essence of what we see in these years is what we have seen before for decades and centuries. Neglect, contempt, meanness. Willingness to bombard and kill those who are not considered people. So what kind of respect for state sovereignty can we talk about? And Ilham Aliyev, judging by his conversation with Vladimir Zelensky, understands this very well, and is probably not going to react to the Kremlin's new actions, demonstrating this blatant disregard for Azerbaijani state sovereignty. Yes, by and large, the president of Azerbaijan simply has no other way out, because any desire to turn a blind eye to such relations affects both the authority of Ilham Aliyev himself and the power structure that Aliyev's father and son have been building in Azerbaijan in recent decades. Thank you, friends. Stay on this channel, subscribe to it, subscribe to my social networks, 4 channels in Patreon, BAME, Coffee and Donatello, which helps to develop these resources. Use the sponsorship feature in YouTube itself.